All right, folks, I thought I'd take a minute and shoot a video as promised, okay? Greg had a question about this chord. This just happens to be one of my favorite chords, and it can be interpreted a lot of ways. One way it can be interpreted is functionally within the system of A-form and B-form voicings. You could say that this is an A-form voicing for an F-dominant chord. If I were doing a 2-5-1 in A form in the key of B flat, by the way, that is not common. Yeah, B flat would usually be considered a B form key, so the 5 chord would be this. Notice that this chord is an inversion of this chord, and either one of them implies F dominant something. Okay? And these are unaltered. Completely diatonic dominants, okay? So what does that imply? Okay, functionally that implies F mixolydian. Alright, that's what it implies functionally. But remember, there's a lot of ways that you can add bebop notes to modes, okay? So I would recommend taking a bebop approach. Okay, taking a bebop approach to this, the most traditional bebop mixolydian scale is... Okay, so it's that extra, the flat 7, the natural 7, not always natural, excuse me, the major 7th, and again the tonic of the modal tonic, in this case of F mixolydian. That's where we get, but I think that when it comes to adding bebop notes to mode, pretty much, to modes, excuse me, almost anything goes. Okay, so I'm doing enclosures around, that's just a chromatic, upper and lower chromatic tone enclosure for a resolve note that is diatonic to the mode. I also like to notice that any time that something could be interpreted as dominant, all dominant chords have an implied upper structure diminished chord. For example, if I think of C dominant 7th, and I get rid of the root, then I'm left with E diminished triad. And that's, as you know, all minor thirds. If I add one more minor third to that, I get E diminished, fully diminished 7th, and all of its inversions, right? So that's essentially what I'm doing here, is while I'm playing this F dominant chord, I'm reminding myself that there's this upper structure, really A diminished 7th, and all of its inversions that I can inflect. Notice that you can interchange between your chord and the B-form 5 voicing, okay, if you want to have more variety in your comping. Now in that case, I was thinking more in terms not of F mixolydian, but more in terms of the key center being more of a D Phrygian. And the reason that I sometimes do it that way is because whenever I'm doing like like 4th chord type stuff, McCoy-Tyner type stuff, I don't know why this is true for me, and I don't know if it's true for anyone else, is that for some reason, for me, the upper note, the uppermost note, I think of that mentally, I conceptualize that as if it's the root and I'm voicing downwards from there in fourths. is I'm playing Ionian mode. switch into what I was just talking about. Think in terms of just F dominant. I can also think of this as a blues dominant. Sometimes when you play the blues, play these voicings. And what you'll find is you can do some weird things with the blues. Sorry, I got carried away. Okay, so once again, D Phrygian with you know, bebop stuff in it. Or F Mixolydian with the traditional bebop notes and maybe some other bebop notes. And that diminished thing. And remember, it can work over this voicing as well. If you can't see that okay, my left hand is playing, 5th finger is on A, my 3rd finger is on D natural, my 2nd finger is on E flat, my uppermost finger is on G. And that too, remember, is a voicing of F7, which wants to resolve to B flat, if you think of it functionally, okay? But you may not be. You might be in the middle of some quartal thing and be faced with this structure and wonder what to do with it, okay? And that's just the fourths. That's, in this case, E flat, A, and D. But you can always add that. You can always add that. You know, because a lot of the times a quartal soloing can be a lot denser sounding if you use 7 sus4 chords. Like that. I tend not to, but for the one that's the augmented fourth, like that, I call it an augmented fourth chord. I don't know if anybody else does. Sometimes I do add that extra pitch. You don't need it though. Okay, sometimes just having that shell of E flat, A, and D is enough, okay? And then that means that if you play the G with your right hand, it's not redundant to anything that's in the left hand. You might like that denser sound. Maybe you're Gonzalo Rubalcaba or something, or some superhero that I'll never be like. Anyway, so I hope this video was helpful to you or anyone, and thanks for watching. This has been Ben Blau, signing off.